What if the deadliest force in human history wasn't war, nor famine, nor even betrayal, but something far more subtle, something that doesn't announce its arrival with thunder, but slips into the soul like a whisper? Indifference. Imagine a power so quiet it makes no demands, sheds no tears, but simply watches as the strongest men dismantle themselves in its presence. This isn't fiction. It's the ancient dance of desire and detachment. And those who truly understood it, men like Dostoevsky, did not merely survive it, they saw through it. In the cold halls of old Europe, emperors and intellectuals alike found themselves not undone by blades, but by gazes that bore through their ambition, their pride, their essence. A single moment of feminine indifference, a glance void of warmth, could erode a lifetime of purpose. They called it love, but what it truly was, a test, not of courage, but of self-possession. Dostoevsky once wrote from the edge of madness, having stood before a firing squad, stared at death, and then been pulled back from the brink. That terror, he said, did not haunt him. What haunted him was the silent, knowing look in the eyes of those who wanted him to break, not with violence, but with subtle, suffocating expectation. Women, he saw, had learned not to fight for control. They had evolved beyond confrontation. Their weapon? Stillness. In this stillness, men unravel. A composer no longer hears melodies because her smile now flickers only when he speaks of things outside his craft. A leader falters, not because he is overthrown, but because he begins to doubt, driven not by facts, but by the coldness of her distance. It's not rejection that wounds most deeply. It's the withholding of reaction. You think strength is in resistance, but the more you resist this quiet force, the deeper it carves into you. You seek her gaze, her laugh, her warmth. And when it's gone, not forcibly taken, just silently withdrawn, you chase it. Not her, mind you, the version of you that existed when she gave you light. But here's the cruel paradox. She didn't ask you to change. She merely watched as you reshaped yourself into something she still would not approve. History remembers men who built empires. What it forgets are the sighs that made them raise their cities, the silences that made them rewrite their creeds. A single moment of feminine pause, a withheld smile, a delayed reply, has caused more transformation in men than revolutions ever have. And yet, this is not villainy, it's nature. And in nature, only the aware survive. Dostoevsky gave us the underground man not to warn us of women, but to warn us of ourselves. The moment you place your self-worth in the hands of another's reaction, you are no longer a man. You are a marionette. Her silence becomes your orchestra, her absence, your muse. And so your identity mutates into a response. You cease to be. But there is a way out, though few can stomach it. Indifference must meet indifference, not as a game, not as retaliation, but as a reclamation. You must reach a point where her coldness no longer chills you because you have found warmth elsewhere, within. This isn't ego. This is exorcism. Imagine a woman accusing you not with rage, but with sorrow. You've changed. And instead of panicking, you smile gently and agree. Not to provoke, but because it's true. You have changed. You've grown impervious. Not numb, but sovereign. The moment you no longer seek to prove your goodness, your loyalty, your care, you become untouchable. Do not mistake this for cruelty. The world is full of cruel men who cannot let go of needing to be seen as kind. No, this is deeper. This is detachment as a form of rebirth. You no longer orbit her mood, her silence, her sighs. You become your own axis. And in doing so, the game collapses. A man once told his lover, after she burned his letters and wept as if to summon his shame, "Let the fire consume what I no longer am." That man was never broken. Because he knew true freedom is not the absence of love, it's the absence of dependence on it. This is the reason why some women escalate when you disengage, not because they miss you, but because you've become unpredictable. You no longer dance to the rhythm of their sorrow. And in that unpredictability lies your danger. The moment she cannot affect you, she fears losing her place in your story. And so, she rewrites it with tears, rage, silence, sabotage. But you must become the man who cannot be edited. She will accuse, she will mourn, she may even mimic your rebirth, becoming the woman she thinks you want. And in this charade, most men fall again, believing the mask, craving the validation. But if you have seen the truth, you know that love reborn in performance is a prison dressed as passion. And so when she returns, not as herself, but as the version you once dreamed of, you do not embrace. You observe, you smile, you walk. Why? Because the highest power is not control over others, it's sovereignty over yourself. Women do not destroy men. Men destroy themselves for women who never asked to be gods, and then they curse them for not being divine. So you must make peace with being misunderstood, with being the villain, the ghost, the one who walks away without a speech, a scene, a second glance. Because in that silence, you are louder than any scream. They will call you heartless. Let them. They will say you are cold. Perhaps, but cold steel is what survives fire. And in the end, you do not need her to know you were good. You only need to know you were whole. Dostoevsky died clutching the Book of Job, the tale of a man who lost everything, questioned everything, yet cursed nothing. That is the path. That is the abyss. And when you stare into it, not with fear, but with peace, you realize the game is over. Because the abyss, it turns out, was you all along.